Hi, I'm Lisa Hayden with Central Kentucky TV, Channel 6, Community Focus on Washington County. Today, I am happy to be in the office of Springfield
Medical Associates,
Internal Medicine, with Dr. Julie Brown, her husband Chris, and their son John Patrick. So there's a new thing going on here, and we need to let our listening audience know all about it because it's pretty exciting. So I would love for John Patrick, whose idea this was, as I understand, to tell us what's going on here at Dr. Brown's office.
Yes. So what we've done is we've created a few new safety features in light of this COVID-19 pandemic. These safety features include 2 negative pressure rooms at the very end of the office and a handicapped access for the leftmost negative pressure room.
Yeah, so in lay terms, John Pat, you sound like a medical doctor, like your mother.
I do try.
So in lay terms, tell me what that means.
Okay, a negative pressure room is a room designed to prevent cross-contamination with the rest of the office. What it does is it takes contaminated air and sends it through a vent and a series of filters, including a HEPA filter, which will clean the virus out of the air. And then that purified air is then released outside of the office.
And that, of course, will allow patients that are coming into the office to be in this room and not be the air will be cleansed if they're contaminated with any type of respiratory illness.
Yes, it protects everyone that is outside of the room, including staff and patients, and it even protects any staff inside the room because it's pulling the air directly away from them.
Okay. So then if someone, is made an appointment because they think they might have the COVID or the flu or something contagious,
yes,
you would, instead of having to see them out in the parking lot,
we could simply bring them in and turn the switch on, which will activate the negative pressure room, and then we can see them in here, and then once they exit, we can set a timer for 23 minutes, which once it goes off, it means that the air in the room is completely sterile and is purified.
Okay. So now, and you have not one room but 2 rooms, I think, of this. So this room that we're in, a patient would enter through this door from the parking lot, and then the room across the hall here,
they would enter from the handicap access ramp near the front of the office.
Okay. So that way you can see both patients who are mobile and immobile.
Yes.
So that's a real plus right there. And now, so this whole concept, I think you came up with one night, John Pat, over the dinner table, according to your parents.
Yes. The whole idea was that my mother was looking at some papers about how the negative pressure rooms have helped with with COVID-19 in hospital settings, and she was saying that she wished she had one of her own. So I thought, why can't we? So I cleared everything away and started looking up some information, and I found that it's actually rather affordable if you know how to do it correctly.
And of course, you are blessed with a father who has some construction ability.
Yes.
And so you shared this
information
with your parents.
Mm-hmm.
And then what?
We then found the we then used the formulas to figure out how we could create the negative pressure room. The idea is that the gold standard of a negative pressure room is to have an air change per hour, ACH, of 12, which will clear 99% of airborne contaminants in 23 minutes. So, with that knowledge, we simply found the volume of the room and put those two numbers into the formula to find the required cubic feet per minute of airflow in order to achieve an ACH of 12. After figuring both rooms, we found that we would need a fan that could move 350 cubic feet per minute of airflow. So, with that information, we called the HVAC people, we set up, and then we worked on the handicap access outside. My father designed it and then poured concrete, and I helped make sure it was smooth.
Yeah. So, gosh, I think of an air filter, and I didn't realize how complicated this was. I mean, it sounds simple, but really, there is a formula, etc., to the whole thing to make sure that it is, I guess, actually, that it actually works,
yes.
Scientifically works.
Yes.
Are you going into science?
Yes, I am. In fact, I'm planning to major in biology and minor in vocal music at the University of Kentucky, and then go on to medical school and residency at the University of Kentucky, and then come back here to help with my mother.
Oh, yay. Well, that will help her out, particularly right now. It might be a while before you're able to get back, but...
12 years and counting down.
That's right.
But I know Dr. Brown and Mr. Brown, you must be very proud of your son who helped design this. And I believe that, you've indicated that you might spread the word on this, and that's what we're doing right here, because this is something that other offices and doctors' offices throughout the state might be interested in.
Exactly. Lisa, this is not a new concept. It's in hospitals all over the United States, usually in an ICU setting or in a clean room setting, but I think this new way of thinking, because of the coronavirus, thinking outside the box, this might become a new norm for primary care and maybe even have an application in the nursing home setting. This way, when we have respiratory illnesses that occur, instead of seeing them out in the parking lot, because when flu and cold season hits, it's going to be really cold weather, we can bring them in safely, not cross-contaminate the rest of the office, treat the patient, and minimize risk for anyone else in the building, including the staff. So it might become a new norm.
Might want to hold that up. I hope we can hear that. Yeah. And so that's going to be good in a lot of ways, not just for the coronavirus, but when flu season starts, etc.
Yes.
But if are you going to write a paper on this? Was it?
Actually, the paper's already been written. In fact, it's right here.
Oh, okay.
It's already been written, and I attempted to submit it to the Journal of American Medical Associates. It was submitted for review, but it was not published.
But we're still planning on sharing this information with all of the other local practices, the nursing homes, give them the formulas, and with Dr. Stack's office. And so we are going to be sending this information on to him. Who knows, he might think it's a good idea for other primary care offices.
Yeah. And certainly with the nursing homes where there have been so much COVID, and of course the same thing in flu season, the contamination with people living in such close proximity, I would think that that would be a really good thing for because you indicated that people could be maybe have their own room, and then could you explain that a little more?
Absolutely. So in the nursing home setting, if they had two adjacent rooms like we have had, and a closet in between, which we then turned into the area to house the fan and HEPA filter. If you have 2 nursing home rooms that are adjacent, you could have 2 patients, maybe even 4 patients who are ill with COVID, that you could have the adjoining closet converted into the air handling system, and then it would allow for more safety for the nursing home patients as well as staff. They would still want to wear all of the proper PPE with gowns, gloves, masks, face shields, but it would again not cross-contaminate the rest of the facility. There are portable units that they sometimes hook up to a window, but they're not quite as efficient, and so it makes sense if this is going to be with us for a while, and it certainly may, since we don't have a vaccine yet. It might be very sensible to go ahead and put in the unit, which is not terribly expensive, and have it ready that if there are people that cannot be housed in the local hospital because of simply the number of beds available, or if the family were to choose that they wanted the person to continue to be at the nursing home because of their other intercurrent illnesses, this would be a safer way to help them manage that and contain it better.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds really good. So, well, I just think it's very exciting, and I know that it's certainly needed. We are continuing to get more cases, I know, here in Washington County of the coronavirus. And so I have a feeling, Dr. Brown, you're going to be seeing more patients. So this is going to be a really good thing. And is there anything that you would like to share that we haven't covered on this new office space and the HEPA filter?
Yes, and when you said that it was hard, it actually really isn't. The formulas for it is very basic algebra, and if you have the space available, you can fix your own negative pressure room as long as all return vents and air spaces are sealed except for a 1-inch gap in a doorway. And then of course you have your space for your ventilation system. You then just need to follow the algebraic formula for the required CFM to achieve an air change per hour of 12, and then you can install in fact, we installed in less than a day.
Correct. The entire project took a little bit longer because of the concrete and cutting through the wall where a window was to put a door there, and we had some local builders help us with that. Chris designed the handicapped access and poured the concrete, and he and John Patrick worked with that, and then the local heating and cooling people placed the unit in the closet. The heating and cooling people's portion took 1 day. And it was very affordable. Our entire project ran about $5,000, but the fan and the HEPA filter, the multiple other filters, the ductwork ran approximately $2,000.
Yeah.
So it is an affordable process.
Yeah, and very well worth it.
I think so.
Yeah. So, well, anyway, I'm just very excited about this. I'm so glad that you all were able to be on here today to discuss this, and thank you, Channel 6 and Gary White, for for being able to be here. We're all wearing our masks to show that we continue to take this situation very seriously, this pandemic, and this is certainly going to be an asset to your patients and to our community. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you.